Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the AfterShock EpiCenter live stream. I'm your host and the Senior Retailer Relations Manager here at AfterShock Comics, RuthAnn Thompson. We have an excellent week of comic books coming out for you guys. Very exciting to be finishing up August. I can't believe this is the last day, and we're about to go into the next month. So, new comic book day will be for September 1st. And I see we already got some commenters here. Thank you for joining. And Chad is already excited about one of the announcements we made. So hold on, we'll talk about that announcement after these books that are coming out for tomorrow. We have some new number ones and some final issues. So here's our first new number one that's going to be for tomorrow, September 1st, of Almost American. And this is the incredible real life story about two real spies like us, as like we like to say, because in 2008, husband and wife Russian intelligence operatives walked into the U.S. Embassy in the Dominican Republic in order to defect, making a deal to trade secrets for new lives. But instead of the American dream, Janosch and Victoria Newman found themselves caught in red tape, bureaucracy, and turf wars between the FBI and the CIA, all while their past tried to catch up with them and kill them. So this is, if you missed out when we actually had Jan on our happy hour, and I was kind of terrified the whole time that there's going to be a knock on the door. My phone would be tapped at any moment. And he told us a few of the real life stories without spoiling for this incredible book, and was so excited to continue this real life story, Almost American. And it's written by the comics master, Ron Mars. You might know him from Green Lantern, Silver Surfer, so many things. We are so stoked to have him a part of this incredible title. And this is in close consultation with Jan Newman himself, with art by rising star Marco Castiello, and I can't wait for you guys to check this out. We have also a good friend of mine, letterer Russ Wooten, who's on this, and this is a great quote we actually have from real spies and what they had to say about Almost American. A thrilling tale of intrigue, betrayal, honor, and daring. What does it take to leave one's homeland forever, placing your trust in people you've taught are the enemy? Almost American takes you on Jan and Victoria's roller coaster ride of escape from the Russian security services to build a new life and identity in America. So that is from former CIA chief of Russian operations. So we got all these different spies telling us all this cool stuff. Like, I love it, gets me excited, but it also terrifies me. So hopefully you guys will check it out as well. James says, Almost American sounds interesting. Oh, it does. It's amazing. It's the real life story, and I can't get enough of it. I can't wait for you guys to read it. Joe says, Maniac from New York, let's go. Listen, I will tell you the announcement, but let me talk about the books that are coming out first. Jeez, guys. All right, next up, we are finishing up one of my favorite titles that has had a start, but Miles to Go #5. This is a beautiful story by B. Claymore and artist Stefan Molnar. And if you missed out on this title, this is a great time to just catch up with it. Get 1 all the way through 5 on tomorrow at your local comic book shop, because this is a story about a former assassin who, as a little girl, was trained and very, very good at her job for reasons. I don't want to spoil why. And she's now grown up, and she thought she got away from all of that. She has a kid of her own, ex-husband at this point, and all of a sudden her past comes to hunt her and her little girl down. And so this is the final conclusions about the true nature of Amara Bishop and her daughter that leads into a frightening new chapter of their lives. And their retired killer, Moses Graves, must decide if he'll follow them past the point of no return. So if you haven't picked up this title before, highly suggest it. It's finishing up tomorrow as well. Yay! So Shannon was also very excited about this. Says, yes, been waiting for Miles to Go #5. I can't wait. Yes. Good. I'm so glad that you're as excited as I am, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts of this conclusion. And yet another concluding title for tomorrow's New Comic Book Day on September 1st is Phantom on the Scan #5. This title I love so much, but it creeps me out so much. It's so good. So this is from writer Cullen Bunn. You know, we work with him a few times. He's pretty good at horror, I guess. And artist Mark Torres, who's just so incredibly talented. And this is the finale, because in the heart part of the Trelu Institute, an unearthly power is awaking. As their numbers dwindle and their psychic abilities threaten to kill them, a vicious murderer stalks them from the shadows. This group of gifted individuals discovers the terrifying truth behind their powers. And my favorite part about this is there's a bonus soundtrack to every single one of these titles. It's been performed and written by Mark Torres just for this series. So each and every one of these has a little QR code and you scan it and it'll bring you right to the music. I highly suggest listening to it as you read the comic. It just adds this other like layer to it and makes it even more cinematic. It's so creepy and so good. And I mean, goodness, Mark Torres, why don't you be more talented? Like between the artwork and writing this and performing it, so good. So highly suggest picking this one up and finishing it up. And guys, guess what? We're only a week away from yet another happy hour. I am very stoked for this happy hour. We're going to have one of my friends of many, many years. This is with Frank Thierry, and he's done a couple projects with us, and we might be announcing something next week. Just saying. So you must stop in next week on Thursday. Let's see, what's the date on that? September 9th from at 5 p.m. Eastern. Pour yourself a drink. We'll talk with him, have a great chat, and then we'll have Joe Pruitt come on with Frank Thierry to talk about the titles that we'll be selling for the live sale. And as always, we'll have exclusive and rarities at a fraction of the cost for you guys. And if last week was any indication, it'll probably sell out very quick. So make sure you join us for that. In the spotlight coming up, we're very excited that the Scouts Honor Complete series will be coming out. If you missed this incredible title from David Pepos, this is the time to jump on it. This is the story of years after a nuclear apocalypse, a new society has risen from the ashes, and their Bible is an old Ranger Scout manual, because why not? You know, that makes sense. And we follow a young Ranger Scout named Kit, who has endured the harsh survivalist upbringing needed to conquer the eradicated Colorado Badlands. But after discovering a terrible secret once lost to history, Kit must risk everything on a dangerous quest to uncover the truth behind the Ranger Scout doctrine. Dun, dun, dun. And as always, we've been having these great badges that come along with each of the issues. So make sure you reach out to your local comic book shop and let them know that you want to order this, because this is going to be in shops on September 22nd. And make sure you ask about the badge as well, because they should have some as well available. So very stoked about that. Paul Dunn, nice. I agree. And Love Scouts Honor, Shannon. Yes, good. Such a good story. I highly agree. I have adored David Pepos's work, so it was an absolute pleasure to be working with him on this, and I look forward to working with him on a lot more stuff. Fast approaching as well, we have 10 Years to Death. This is going to be a fun one. This is from writer Aaron Douglas. You might know him as Chief from Battlestar Galactica. Had such a blast with him on a happy hour I want to say about a month ago. It seems like forever, but it was such a good time. The artwork is from Cliff Richard, and it's another real life ghost story from him, and I don't want to spoil any of it. It is terrifying. Every time I talk about it or hear him talking about it, just get goosebumps. It's terrifying. So make sure if you like scary stories, this is the one for you, and you need to let your comic book shop know to order it, because the order deadline is September 6th. So make sure you add that to your pull list, as well as Out of Body #4. This continues Peter Milligan's story of trying to figure out who tried to kill him while using astral projection, since he's still in a coma and he has to figure it out before he gets unplugged. And the artwork from Inaki Miranda, you might know him from We Live, is just perfect for this storyline. So also make sure to let your local comic book shop know to pull that as well, because September 6th, this coming Monday, is your last chance to be able to get that on your pull list. And yes, James is excited for 10 Years to Death. So am I. It's terrifying. I love it. And Paul, I agree. The colors on Out of Body is just, there's something that Inaki does with colors that it just makes it so like surreal and yet like so intense at the same time. Excellent stuff. And for all those that have been so excited about the announcement that just came out today, MANIAC Volume 2. So we're so stoked to bring back our MANIAC of New York, because you can't keep a good MANIAC down, especially not from Maniac Harry. Having applied his personal brand of unstoppable mayhem upon a murder-weary Manhattan, our man behind the mask will turn his attention north to the Bronx, to be precise. And I'm excited about this. I lived in the Bronx for about 5 years, so I can't wait to see like all the different stuff that I haven't seen in years kind of depicted in this book. And this is after the tragedy of the death train. Detective Zelda Pettibone and mayoral aide Gina Green have lost the trail of the maniac and the support of the city. Copycats are springing up, tensions are high, and traffic is a nightmare. So what happens when your favorite unstoppable, mindless killer resurfaces in a Bronx high school? Can Zelda and Gina get there before the maniac Harry adds to his body count? Will the students tear their attention away from their phones long enough to notice there's a monster in the halls? I don't know. You're just going to have to check this out. From writer Elliot Callan and artist Andre Muti. Return in December of this year for Maniac of New York, The Bronx is Burning, which is the next chapter in this hit horror satire that's somehow even scarier than the world we actually live in. This offers the early look of a heart-pounding havoc, and we are, as you guys are, super stoked as well. Yes, Paul Dunn, I agreed. Woot! Yeah, the potholes in the Bronx are still there. Good to know that some things just never change. That makes me happy. And guys, we just enjoy you all so much. Thank you so much for being a part of the AfterShock family. We are still looking for some ambassadors. There's 2 areas where we need to get an AfterShock ambassador to be able to visit shops every month, bring them some awesome swag, get some awesome swags themselves, and teach all of the retailers about the awesome titles coming out from AfterShock. So we are still looking for somebody in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, as well as Washington, D.C. So if you or anyone you know is a big AfterShock fan, make sure to send them our way. We'll interview you guys. You get to work with me, Mark Hammond, Joe Pruitt, and Kelly Diodati to make all this awesome stuff happen. So as always, guys, thank you so much for joining, chatting. We'll see you next Thursday. Make sure you stay safe, wash your hands, keep your distance, wear your masks, and only read dangerously. We'll see you guys next week. Bye now.